Hi, I'm Valerie June. Check out my interview on AD TV.
You're from the South. What was it like for you actually growing up there? Because I know you're aware of the differences in colour, people may be treated differently. How was it for you growing up, being a youngster in the South?
For me, growing up in the South, I grew up in a small town, and I really didn't feel like I was accepted by black people or white people, so I've always been in the middle of the room. But a lot of black people, feel separate from white people, and white people feel separate from black people in the South. When I was growing up, they felt separate, but being in the middle of the room, I kind of got a little bit from both sides. So I tend to not judge, I just tend to live my life in the middle of the room still.
Is that reflected in your EP Pushing Against the Stone? Pushing Against the Stone, the whole, you're making music that is colourless, you're not making music predominantly for black people, predominantly for white people. Does that affect also your art?
It really does affect my art in the sense that music was a place for me to feel safe in the center of all the, whatever projections people might want to make because I have dreads, because I look a certain way, that I should be a certain thing or I should sound a certain way. I just always wanted to follow what Gandhi said when he said, be the change you wish to see. And I like Dolly Parton. I happen to like country music, not unlike many of the soul singers and people that grew up, in Mississippi and Tennessee areas. They liked country music. The Grand Ole Opry was coming into their houses every day. So I'm not going to act like I don't listen to straight old country, Hank Williams senior music. I love his music. And the Carter family, I love old country music. But I also like, soul music, and I like blues music, and I just think music is seriously the universal language, and it's to be enjoyed, and it's to help people feel things that they can't really put their finger on why they feel it or how they feel it, but when they feel the beat, even if it's a slow song, when it touches them and breaks them open, they can really, really feel the emotion that they needed to express for years. It was like pent up, but when they heard Sam Cooke's voice, it was like, oh my God, that's it.
That's it. You play instruments, multiple instruments, and you play by ear?
Yeah, I don't really play by ear too well. What I do, I kind of do to a degree, because what I do is I match the instruments to my voice. But if there was another musician sitting in the room playing, I couldn't figure out what they were playing by my ear. So I play by ear based on being able to pick out melodies that I'm humming, and I try to make the instruments follow my voice.
Right.
So that's kind of how I started learning to play, was to take these instruments and say, I'm never going to be Hendrix on this guitar. Let's just put that down right now. I started way too late in life to be that. But what I can do is follow my voice, follow my voice and just kind of accompany myself with, whatever instrument I'm falling in love with at that time, So I'm not trying to be like a crazy great instrumentalist. I just really like to comfort my voice with the songs, and I just love string instruments and the warmth that you feel when you have one sitting right against your chest and you're singing, and the breath and everything. It's really a way to stay aligned for me.
So when you write music, is it just, obviously processes must change, but do you sometimes just play, some keys or some strings and then the music comes, or, how does that work out? Because if you can actually play instruments, sometimes performing a song live, how does it come about when you're putting the two together?
Well, usually what happens when I'm writing songs is I hear voices kind of like a person would listen to a radio, and I just hear these voices, singing to me, like different stations, different kinds of voices, sometimes an older white man's voice, sometimes a young, black woman's style voice, or sometimes a child's voice. And I think I'm just like the translator. I hear the songs, I determine, what is this? Is this something that I want to sing in my own voice? Do I feel like this voice that I'm hearing on the radio dial in the ether needs to come out into the world? And if I do, then I start to sing what I'm hearing. and I start singing it, and it might be like, you know, first just humming it, and then I start hearing the lyrics. I ain't fit to be no mother, I ain't fit to be no wife, and then I just feel so compelled that I'm like, okay, I gotta write this. So sometimes I'll just grab a sheet of paper or a napkin or anything, and I'll just write down the words that I was hearing, and I'll remember the melody because I remember melodies, and if the melody leaves me, then I know it's a song that wasn't for me to write, you know, and I just let it go. Yeah. Sometimes I get mad if it leaves me, but so I write the melody and I have the lyrics on the paper, you know, and when I get to an instrument, then I pick out the chords that fit with the melody that I was singing over and over, singing it over and over and over again. And sometimes it sounds like gibberish, sometimes it's just like blah 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 blah. I don't even know. There's no words at all at first. It's kind of like baby talk, and then the words start to morph into what they should be. So, and there's other times when I do sit down with an instrument and I'm playing like a rhythm or a beat that's so good that I'm like, I gotta write a song on top of this. So then I'll start hearing a voice singing on top of that. So that's a different way to write, and I don't do it as much, but I do write that way too.